turn now to Glenn Kirshner, a former federal prosecutor and an NBC News legal contributor. Glenn, thanks for making the time to be with us. First off, what do you make of this news, and specifically how it will affect the politics in this country?
You know, Morgan, it seems like it may affect the politics more than it's going to affect the sort of legal precedent that we can expect to see coming from the Supreme Court. Anytime there is a new Supreme Court justice announced or a nominee announced, you're going to have people use that for political advantage, right? One side is likely to rail against it. The other side is likely to support the nominee. And each side will be trying to score their political points. But because Justice Breyer has voted pretty consistently with the more liberal, the so-called liberal wing of the court, it seems like President Biden is likely to nominate somebody who has a similar judicial philosophy, a similar ideology. So you're probably going to see the ideological split. I wish we didn't have an ideological split on the Supreme Court, but you're likely to see the ideological split continue to be 6-3. So I don't know that this shakes things up dramatically, but I do think it shakes things up politically. And as a number of folks have been saying, yes, there is a 50-50 split in the Senate, but not all 50 Democratic senators have been reliable votes when it comes to traditionally Democratic issues or policies. So even if President Biden nominates somebody with a very similar judicial philosophy, if he nominates somebody that is not controversial, is eminently qualified, and should sort of sail through the confirmation process, in this day and age with the polarization that we see, I have to wonder if it's still going to be sort of a heck of a bumpy ride.
So, Glenn, you make a couple of good points there. I mean, at some point, we're going to have another justice on the Supreme Court. It will likely be, as you indicated, a liberal-leaning justice, obviously appointed by this president. I guess I'm curious about what impact you would expect that new justice to have then. Obviously, when Amy Coney Barrett was going through the confirmation process, people dig into these judges' past, into their prior rulings and things of that sort, to try to get an idea of how they might impact the Supreme Court. If the president does appoint a more liberal, more left-leaning judge to this court, what impact would you expect that to have, given the fact that it's a conservative majority on the court?
Yeah, so as far as future Supreme Court rulings and decisions, we're all reading tea leaves, but it kind of feels like no matter how liberal the philosophy of any judge that President Biden nominates to be the next Supreme Court justice, that person can have only so much impact on the direction of the Supreme Court or the opinions that the Supreme Court has been handing down. Justice Breyer was no originalist. He was no strict constructionist. He didn't seem inclined to take us back to the bad old days, as it seems like some of the justices are inclined to do now, most visibly with the way they're handling the sort of Roe v. Wade related legislation out of Texas. So really, no matter how left-leaning the next Supreme Court justice might be who replaces Justice Breyer, it doesn't feel like there's going to be much of an opportunity for that person to alter the direction of the court. It's really going to be the court continuing to tread water. And the water that they're treading right now is kind of perilous because the public's perception of the Supreme Court is at an all-time low. Its legitimacy seems to be receding based on some of the decisions they've been making. So I don't know that we can expect to see much of a change moving forward.
All right, former federal prosecutor, NBC News legal analyst Glenn Kirshner. Glenn, thank you.